Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are looking at the Gospel of Mark. We're in chapter 2, starting at verse 23, going through chapter 3, verse 5. Now, on the Sabbath day, Jesus is walking through a grain field, and his disciples, they didn't get breakfast, no donuts, and so they're plucking grains, which was interpreted as work by the Pharisees. Because they're not simply eating, they're rubbing the grains in their hands, so they're milling. There they are, milling. And the Pharisees see it as they're the morality police, and they see it as a violation. The thing is when we think about worship, it's not an obligation. Worship is not an issue of the law. Worship is not a matter of morality. Worship doesn't make you morally superior. And the Pharisees see the people, that they're supposed to serve the Sabbath. And Jesus is going to be telling them that the Sabbath is there to bless the people. And so, as he says, have you never read that David, when he was hungry, he and his companions were in need. They went to the house of the Lord, and they ate the consecrated bread. And he gave it not only to David, he gave it his companions. Because, again, what God has isn't meant to be held over us, but it is meant to be given to us as a gift. And he says, the Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. The Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath. And so Jesus is the Lord of the Sabbath because he's the fulfillment of the Sabbath. He is our Sabbath rest. God is not trying to get us to worship, to get us to go through the motions. God is trying to get us to worship, to connect to him. He's calling us together in worship in a consecrated time. And so, when we come to worship, we need to ask ourselves, are we really worshiping? Are we staying focused on the Lord, or is our mind wandering to the things of this world? Are we worshiping the Lord on our terms, at our convenience? Are we really giving ourselves to the Lord? Is your heart sincere? So as Jesus goes on, another time he goes to the synagogue, and there's a man with a shriveled up hand, and he's there, and the congregation would have suspected that the man with the withered hand had done something wrong to have a withered hand, that he was a sinner, he was a rotten sinner. And they would assume that his own wickedness was to blame, and maybe not, that he shouldn't even be there. And so they're looking to see if Jesus would bother with this sinner. And Jesus looks around, he's sort of irritated with them, and he keeps caring for those who are sick with sin, just like the tax collectors. And he asks, is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath, to save a life or to kill? And, they won't answer him. And he's asking, is doing the Lord's will, does that supersede the traditions and the rules? And Jesus is angry with them because of their hardness of heart. And I want you to think about, do we bring a hardness of heart to worship, to the church? Are we more concerned about our power and control than about worshiping God or doing his will, of loving others? And Jesus is not going to be stymied by their hardness of heart. He says, stretch out your hand, and the hand is restored. The man is healed, and the man is restored. Not just the hand is restored, the man is restored. Well, hey, friends, if you're getting something out of the Daily Plunge, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and especially share everywhere you can. Thanks. Have a blessed day.